guys, good evening. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. It's a beautiful weather here where I am, and I hope you guys are also experiencing a wonderful weather. The topic that I have for today is about rejection. Now, rejection is something that we all have experienced. Every one of us would have experienced it in some point or another. And we don't like it, right? It's never fun to be rejected. In fact, life sucks when it's rejected, and it hurts when we get rejected. And we can get rejected in many different circumstances. We can experience rejection at work, we can experience rejection in our social setting among our friends, our peers. We can also experience rejection in our private life, romantic life. Yeah, and none of it is feels like fun at that point. Hi Darshana, hi Mallika, hi Uma, hi Shamala. Lovely to see all of you. Thank you for joining. And so rejection is really not fun. And why does rejection hurt? Because when we feel rejected, we feel like we are not wanted. We feel we are not valued. We feel not loved. And these are all emotions that as humans we want, right? We want to feel valued. We want to feel loved. We want to feel accepted. When we share an idea, we want people to accept it. When we try to share something with them, we want them to appreciate it. And ourselves as well, as person, we want to feel that acceptance. And when we don't feel it, it hurts. It really hurts. Yeah. Thank you, Malika, for that. But why does rejection hurt so much? Why does rejection hurt so much? What I've read is that this actually goes back to our caveman ancestors. Like a lot of stuff we carry because of the way that we used to live. It's in our DNA. The part how our, through evolution, how our brains have formed. Because when you can imagine, right, when we were living in the caveman, the primitive days, if we are ostracized by our tribe, it basically meant death. Like if we don't have the support of our tribe, for some reason they don't like us, we will not have fire, we will not have food, we will not have a place to stay, we could be attacked by wild animals without the protection of our bigger extended tribe. So it was a very dangerous thing, and it basically meant survival. Hi Rajkumar, nice to see you. So rejection meant death, and we are carrying these emotions in our primitive brain. Whenever we feel rejected, we associate it to survival. So that's the reason why we don't like rejection. Now, what happens when we feel rejected? When we feel rejected, there's one part which is when people actually reject us. We offer something, or we share an idea, or we do something, and then we get a feedback that whatever we did is not wanted. So that's the first part about it. Now, the real damage comes in how we react to this particular feedback. Yeah, a lot of times what happens is that we will do a lot of negative self-talk, and we will do a lot of criticism. We will examine it from a different perspective. We will try to look at it from that person's perspective, although typically we don't really know what that person is thinking, but we will try to imagine why that person rejected us. Hi Kavita, hi Punita, hi Premala, so nice to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining. So we will try to imagine it from all their perspective, and we will create, we'll create scripts, we'll create dialogues, we'll create situations, and we will try to make that story. And usually what happens is that we will make things even worse. So one part of it is the feedback that we got, that what we did was not really invited or welcomed or whatever. But the second part is all those negative self-talk that we do. And then if we keep engaging in this negative self-talk, something really bad starts to happen. And this one is called self-rejection. This one is called self-rejection. Now, self-rejection is when we go through something and we reject ourselves even before presenting it. Now, how many times have you all done that? I have done it. I have done it many, many, many times in my life. Like, I really want to do something, but when I think about it, I'm trying to imagine whether this person will like it or they may not like it, and how I will deal with it if they don't like it and whatever. And then I decide that I'm not going to go forth with it. No, I'm not able to deal with that, so I'm not going to do with it. But you know what happened? I'm thinking that I actually stopped myself from being rejected by others. But in truth, what actually happened is I didn't need others to reject me. I rejected myself. Like those of you who are entrepreneurs, have you tried to, you want to go and see a new client, but you don't dare? And every time you don't do it, that is actually a self-rejection. For those of you who want to try something like a creative pursuit, but you don't dare to put it out there, that is a self-rejection. So every time we want to do something, but we don't go ahead with it, we are rejecting ourselves. And that just stops us from growing, that stops us from experiencing success, and over time, it becomes a pattern. And it does nothing, no favor for us. Yeah? Yes, Malika. I'm sure a lot of you would have resonated with that, right? I cannot think of how many times I have self-rejected myself. Many, many, many times. So, what actually happens? So what do we do now? What do we do in order to get out of this? Because in order for us to push ourselves into the growth zone, we have to face rejection. Now, the most important thing to remember is that when people, there are two parts to rejection. One is we must know that anytime we push ourselves, we can get rejected. Yeah, we can get rejected. It's part of growth. So we have to deal with this rejection. We have to expect it and we have to deal with this rejection. Now that's the first part. The second part is when we do get rejected, what can we do to deal with that? Because no matter how prepared we are, it can hurt, right? So what do we do to prepare ourselves to deal with that rejection? Now let me address the first part. The first part is how to risk rejection. How to even risk rejection. Now one good thing to remember is that the rejection may not even be about us. Let's say, for example, I'm selling, I think I have talked about this example somewhere else before, but let's say I am selling chocolate cake and I go and approach many customers to sell chocolate cake. Some people are going to buy from me, some people are going to be delighted that I'm selling chocolate cake, some people are going to reject me outright and saying, nope, I don't like chocolate cake, I don't want your chocolate cake. Now, for those people who say that they don't want my chocolate cake, if I take the rejection personally, I'm going to think that it's about me, or maybe they don't like the way I've done the cake, but it again is about me, right? I'm not a good cook, or I'm not a good cake bake, I'm not a good baker. But actually, they may not just like chocolate cake. They may not want a chocolate cake at that point in time. So it's got nothing to do with me or my cake. It's just them. They may prefer a vanilla cake, or they may prefer a red velvet cake, whatever cake, but not a chocolate cake. Shomala says rejection is redirection. Yes, that is also true. I will come to that. And so when people don't want it, it's not about us. It's just that at that moment they don't need it, or they have got a different taste. But if I take it personally, I may end up not selling chocolate cake, or selling less chocolate cake because I fear rejection so much. One of my mentors told me when I started to become an entrepreneur, and this has been the best advice that I got in how to deal with rejection, is he told me, Kamala, just go out there and get rejected as much as possible. He told me, when you go out to buy anything from the supermarket, just ask them for a discount, knowing very well the supermarkets do not give discount. But every time you hear no, you're going to realize that you can get rejection, you can get rejected and not die. So the more often you ask people for something and they say no to you, you're building up your rejection muscle. So all of you, especially those people who are entrepreneurs, just go out there and just get rejected. In fact, he was telling me to build my rejection muscle. You know, when I go and pump gas, just ask for a discount from the petrol station. When I go to do groceries at Jia Supermarket, Jia Grocers, just ask for discount from them. And you know very well that none of them are going to give you a discount. But the more you hear it, the more you're going to realize, I can hear a no and not curl up and die. Maliga says, I'm hearing this second time today. The more you get rejected, the more stronger you become. It's true, Maliga. Just try it and the whole rejection thing just becomes redirected. And the other thing is, when we are putting something out there, this is going back to what Shomala said as redirection. When we are putting something out there, we are also looking for people who want what we want, right? You don't want everybody to be... You know, it's not your target market for anything is not everybody. It is specific people are looking for what you want. If you're looking for a life partner, you are not trying to marry everybody. You are looking for a specific person who wants you. So in this case, if you think about it, you know, like what Shomala says, rejection is actually redirection. More rejection, you are actually being redirected to the right path. If you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to try to sell to everybody. Not everybody is in our target market. We are all told as entrepreneurs that we need to have a niche. So when people are saying no to our product, it means they are not our target market. We have to continue to progress until we find people who want what we have. And then it's a direct match. So when we think about it that way, you know, rejection is actually redirection. We continue to progress, look for the correct match. Yeah, rejection is just blessing in disguise, Shomala. Absolutely. So when we think about it this way, we don't have to worry about rejection so much. Just reframe the whole thing in our mind. And the next thing is, sometimes, you know, no matter how much we expect or whatever, once every now and then, while we are building our rejection muscle, we are going to feel down when we hear that dreaded no. And when we do that, you know, we just have to deal with it, like go into some self-care. And the most important self-care could be a support system, a group of friends, or, you know, somebody that you can rely to give you that pep talk that you would need at that time, somebody to support you and maybe reframe the whole rejection a bit. You know, that is one of the most important thing. Don't go to people who are going to add more, you know, fire and talk about like how sad it is. Really, did they say that? Did their voice change? Oh my God. Don't go to people who are going to do that to you. Go to people who are going to give you a good perspective on it and who are going to prepare you to be able to bounce back. This is like really important. Hi Viviaka, hi Sheila, hi Tambi, nice to see you all. And absolutely, Shomala, every time we get rejected, we become stronger as long as we don't allow our negative self-talk. Now, the most dangerous one is what we talk back to ourselves. Our inner critic is extremely dangerous. So another way how we can prepare for rejection is, if you know specifically that you're going to go and do something and there is a possibility of getting rejection, we can prepare ourselves. You know what we can do is, like, really let loose the inner critic. Let the inner critic say whatever, like all the different ways we are going to be rejected, and then counter it back. You know, go back to a place where we understand our worth. Go back to a place where we understand the value. And with that new mindset, go back and reread everything our inner critic did and counter it back like how a good lawyer would do in a good defense attack. Counter everything that the inner critic has said. And when we do this kind of exercise, we will focus more on our worth, we will focus more on our value, and we will be more prepared when we hear something like a no coming out from someone. Our knowledge of our value and our worth will protect us and allow us to go forward. So that's what I have, guys. Do not fear rejection. And most importantly, do not self-reject. Do not self-reject. As we progress into growth, when we will be hitting, we have to push boundaries, and part of pushing boundaries is facing rejection. So if you are facing rejection, you are doing something right. You're moving out of your comfort zone and going into your growth zone. So do not fear that, guys. Just learn to manage it. All right? Thank you so much, everyone. Premila is asking how to share this with our friends on FB. Once I have finished this, Premila, I think it will get posted on my Facebook page, and then you can actually just do the same thing like how you would do from FB. And thank you so much if you guys are sharing it. Thank you so much. So I will see you all again, guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks again for joining. Bye.